Hey, what's up pups, it's JR and welcome back to BTD. If you didn't watch the last episode, this is going to be the final season of Built to Destroy, and thusly, I'm going to be showing you the two weapons I've been saving for the series finale.
Which, if you already did watch the last video, or are able to look over my right shoulder right now, then you probably already know what this video is all about. As I've said before, while I am legally an adult, there's still a residual edge in me from when I was 14. Thusly, I'm usually pretty fond of things that an edgy 14-year-old would like. And yes, that translates to weapons. Sniper rifles, dual-wield sawn-off shotguns, and of course, scythes.
While yes, scythes are farming tools, that hasn't stopped people from putting them in their games as weapons. I'm still holding out hope that they'll add scythes as a weapon class to Monster Hunter World when Iceborne drops later this year. Something about the long handle and the crescent-shaped blade makes scythes look super badass, and the only thing that can make them even more badass is if you dual-wield them. Warrior, magic user, ranger, acrobat. Womp, 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 womp.
And of course, Warframe, being the ever so vast video game that it is, of course, has scythes, with their own unique attack animations. By the way, DE, if you make it so scythes work like heavy blades and take away their unique animation sets, we're gonna have a huge problem. Just give them a new stance mod like you did polearms and daggers, please.
I started playing Warframe in 2013, so I was still very much in edgy teenager mode. So even though I still do this in any game that allows, when I first got Warframe, I took to the codex and looked at all the scythes that were available at the time. Aether Reaper was my first scythe, as it was the easiest to obtain. Reaper Prime was in my sights as well, but I had no clue what the fuck a void key was, so I didn't end up getting it for a while. Then, finally, like love at first sight, I saw what was to become my favorite weapon in Warframe. Hate. Hate is the Stalker's unique mythical scythe that sports 70 base damage, favoring slash, 15% status chance, and 20% crit chance paired with a 2.5 times crit damage. I say mythical scythe because after my own experience and reading a few of the comments on Hate's wiki page, it seems generally accepted that this weapon is a myth. Which is to say, a lot of people seem to have never gotten Hate's blueprint to drop from the Stalker. I'm sure I've said this a few times before, but I didn't get my Hate's blueprint until I was 800 hours deep into Warframe. And yes, 500 of them were farming the Stalker.
Hate has the same drop chance as Despair, making it so that it's more rare than Dread, but more common than War. However, something about the scythe seems to make it so that it's the Stalker's rarest drop, despite the drop chances saying otherwise. In my nigh 5,000 hours in Warframe, I've only ever gotten 2 Hate blueprints. One of them being my first, which was immediately used, and then another when I just got it in idle gameplay. Meanwhile, even though War has existed for much less time than Hate, I have gotten 4 War blueprints and even 8 Despair blueprints, despite Hate having supposedly the same drop chance as Despair and being more common than War.
So if you want this weapon, which I'm almost positive you do, I wish you good luck in farming it. Trust me when I say Hate is very much worth the grind. Fun little fact about Hate. Much like Sindhu has dual Zoran, Hate has a smaller one-handed counterpart. This smaller counterpart is comma and dual commas, which I also love. When I put Hate and my recolored dual commas side by side, you can very much see the resemblance. Anyway, I absolutely love Hate, and it's not just because the visuals and the fact that it's a scythe. I believe my Hate to be the strongest melee weapon I have, and my second strongest weapon overall, only surpassed by one other weapon.
And this is partly because of my Riven, Hate Visicron. Hate Visicron increases Hate's crit chance by 166.2% and its damage by 304.6%, while unfortunately reducing its status duration by 61.2%. So while normally Hate could be a monstrous hybrid crit status weapon, my Hate specifically cannot. So I ended up building it for crit as hard as I possibly could.
This meant using 2 mods that I have on no other melee weapons, because they are very annoying to work around right now. These mods are Sacrificial Pressure and Sacrificial Steel, which you get after completing the quest The Sacrifice. The Sacrificial mods are improved versions of Pressure Point and True Steel, which increase your melee weapon's damage and crit chance respectively. The special thing about the Sacrificial mods is if you use them together, they increase each other's values. When using both mods, Sacrificial Pressure increases your damage by 137.5% instead of 110% like it does base. This makes it slightly inferior to Primed Pressure Point, which increases your damage by 165%. However, when used in tandem with Sacrificial Steel, Steel increases your crit chance by 110% instead of 88% it does base. This means that if you use both mods, you lose out on only 27.5% extra damage to increase your crit chance by 50% more than if you were just to use normal True Steel.
This is what I did with my hate. Because with Sacrificial Steel and my Riven, my hate gets up to 71.2% crit chance before Blood Rush, making it so that hate can get to red crit territory very quickly. The unfortunate thing about these mods is they have a unique polarity on them that you cannot polarize a mod slot with, so you cannot reduce their drain. Anyway, enough beating around the bush. Let's go look at my build.
I have Berserker increasing my attack speed, as with Sacrificial mods I couldn't fit Prime Fury, Sacrificial Steel, Blood Rush, and Hate Visicron increasing my crit chance, Prime Fever Strike, Hate Visicron, and Sacrificial Pressure increasing my overall damage and adding toxin damage to the mix, and finally, Organ Shatter and Drifting Contact increasing my crit damage, status chance, and duration of the combo counter to help out with Blood Rush. Two caveats for this build. I normally show you melee weapons at a 2.5 combo multiplier, but I'm going to be showing you my hate at a 3.5, because that's what I commonly have it at whenever I'm doing high level missions. Also, my Prime Fever Strike is only 9 out of 10, but the final stats I'm going to show you are as if it was 10 out of 10. Anyway, with this build and my Riven specifically, hate gets up to 117,536 average overall damage and 188,646 average DPS.
So, let's go see how this does against some level 135s. Quick side note before we do that, DE, can we please not have the holes in the simulacrum, please? And maybe, I don't know, put a wall around it so enemies and I can stop falling out of the map, please? Thank you. that's going to wrap up this episode of Built to Destroy. Remember, there's going to be one more episode after this, and it's going to be on the weapon with the highest potential DPS in the entire game. So you're not going to want to miss that. Either way, if you enjoyed this video, consider dropping a like, and make sure to hit that subscribe button to become a pup if you haven't already. Also, if you want to support me in the channel, consider buying some merch, or maybe even become a patron for as little as $1 a month. My name's JR, and I'll see you guys in the next one.